The members of Parliament on the Parliamentary Forum for Children Affairs have decried the rising cases of child abuse in the country. They, however, raised pertinent concerns on what is considered 60% of the population that is below 18 years, according to Peter Bahemuka, a children's rights advocacy with rising voices, saying this has not been helped out.
The law may be very good, but if people perceive it wrongly, then they may not be supportive of it. So we think it is our responsibility to do our bit to educate people, to enlighten them, to tell them that the law is not about arresting parents or teachers. It is about harmonizing how we raise our children.
Children's cognitive development represents Uganda's greatest natural resource. Moreover, Uganda's vision to become a middle-income status by 2020 remains highly contingent upon collective abilities to safeguard children's rights to contribute to national development.
The National Children's Authority that will be responsible for all children's affairs, we think that is quite a step forward. Because if you imagine, if you talk about forests in Uganda, they have an authority. If you talk about roads, there's an authority that looks at all the roads infrastructure in Uganda. If you talk about civil aviation, you get. So the idea of children as being holistic.
Moreover, Uganda's vision to become a middle-income status by 2020 remains highly contingent upon collective abilities to safeguard children's rights to contribute to national development. The members of Parliament also non-committal on the recent legislation of the Children's Act on children's rights, saying sensitization remains a major barrier of the masses.
Because the laws are there, we are putting the laws, we are passing the laws, but who is enforcing them? I want the Minister of Education to come up clearly and maybe carry out sensitization workshop and have the enforcement. Let us
touch everyone. And I believe passing a law would help, but we need to do it collectively, like bringing everyone on board, because we have seen many laws being passed, but the implementation. That's why I'm saying that everyone should come on board to make sure that we advocate for the voiceless, because
the Children's Rights NGO network in Uganda and the members of Parliament advance for a robust promotion of the law and fight for the rights of children in the country.
The law is going to address the challenge of child neglect, sacrifice, and more so when they brought this element that MPs, as we have opportunity to address gatherings, let it be part of our speeches to say something concerning about child neglect, child sacrifice, even HIV, stroke, AIDS, because all that does affect our children.
The cell now. What kind of a child are we going to produce? Who has the due responsibility for such a child? That is why, for me, I am saying, can we bring the parents on board?
Children's rights to protection continues to be a critical challenge, given that 8% of children are critically vulnerable and 43% are moderately vulnerable in the country. In 2015, UNICEF Uganda reported that 60% of children are registered within a year of birth, and government expenditure on child protection remains minimal. Aaron Stabarka, WBS at Parliament.